God is telling you not to give up. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you with a message that may touch the very core of your heart. God is telling you not to give up. There is a quiet voice within you, not thunderous, not demanding, but persistent, steady, and sure. It whispers in the silence of your own imagination, urging you to hold on, to stay faithful, to believe not in what your eyes see, but in what your heart knows. You were not created to surrender to fear or defeat. You were made in the image of creative power itself, and that power speaks to you through every longing, every dream, every vision that refuses to die within you. You may have felt abandoned, you may have faced countless failures, but I tell you, these are only shadows. The deeper truth is this: what you dare to claim inwardly, what you feel as already yours, shapes your tomorrow. God is not out there, somewhere, distant and cold. God is moving in you, through you, as you, reminding you every moment, do not give up. Hold fast to the unseen, because it is the seed of your coming reality. And when you stand firm, when you persist with love, with faith, with the unwavering conviction that what you desire is already yours, you align yourself with the highest power in the universe. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight you are being told, not by the world, but by the divine within, do not give up. God is telling you not to give up because the imagination you hold inside is not just fantasy. It is the very voice of God, whispering your path forward. Too often we look outside ourselves for signs, for proof, for someone or something to give us permission to continue. But the true sign comes from within, from the pictures and feelings you persistently entertain in the secret chamber of your mind. You may not realize it, but what you consistently imagine, what you return to again and again in thought and emotion, is the blueprint of your future. The world around you is not fixed. It bends and shapes itself to match the pattern of your inner assumptions. If you assume lack, you will experience lack. If you assume failure, you will meet failure. But if you assume success, love, healing, abundance, and if you persist in that assumption, you will see the outer world reflected back to you in time. This is not wishful thinking. This is the divine law working through you. You have been given the gift of imagination not to escape life, but to create it. And when you feel the pull to give up, when everything around you seems to contradict your desire, remember, the one place that holds the power to change it all is your inner world. There, in the privacy of your own mind, you can create freely, without limit. There, you are not bound by the facts of the moment or the opinions of others. You are free to claim what is yours, to occupy the state you wish to experience, and to remain faithful to it even when the world seems unchanged. You may say, but I've imagined before and nothing happened. And I would answer, what have you been imagining most consistently? For imagination is not a one-time act. It is the daily, repeated assumption, the dominant feeling you carry with you throughout the day. God speaks through what you persist in believing and feeling to be true. It is not the desperate cry or the pleading prayer that shapes your world, but the quiet, steady knowing that what you have imagined is already a fact. Think of the seed planted in the earth. You do not dig it up every day to see if it has sprouted. You trust that in its own time, under the right conditions, it will break through the soil. In the same way, you must trust your inner work. Trust that what you have impressed upon your imagination will come forth. If you do not give up, when challenges rise, when doubts creep in, you must turn again inward. You must refuse to let the outer world dictate your inner state. This is the true test. Will you persist in imagining the best, even when you see the worst? Will you remain loyal to your desired state, even when every sense screams the opposite? This is where the real power lies. God is not telling you to wait for proof. God is telling you to be the proof, to live now in the end you desire, to walk and talk and feel as if the victory is already yours, because inwardly it is. So I tell you again, do not give up. Do not look to the outer for your answers. Go within. Sit quietly, see it clearly, feel it fully. Persist. And know that the God within you, the creative force that has shaped stars and galaxies, is waiting on your command. It is not far off, it is not separate, it is right here, right now, telling you, stay the course, hold the vision, do not let go. And in due time, you will see with your eyes what you have long known in your heart. God is telling you not to give up, because feeling is the secret key that unlocks the door to your desire. It is not enough to simply wish or to recite words without conviction. You must enter the state emotionally. You must feel as though what you desire is already yours. For the creative power within you responds not to empty words or vague hopes, but to the living, breathing sensation of fulfillment. When you close your eyes and imagine the life you want, you may picture scenes, you may hear conversations, but unless you wrap those images in feeling, they will remain as mere shadows, unformed and powerless. It is the feeling of the wish fulfilled that gives life to the image. That feeling, ladies and gentlemen, is the very language of God. You do not need to figure out how the outer world will shift. That is not your concern. Your only task is to live inwardly in the joyful, peaceful, confident feeling that your desire is already a fact. Feel the relief of the problem solved. Feel the happiness of the relationship healed. Feel the security of the abundance received. And as you do this, you impress upon your deeper self a new pattern, one that the world must eventually reflect. But here's where many falter. They imagine once or twice, they feel the thrill for a moment, and then they look around and see no change. Doubt creeps in. They return to the old feelings of lack, of fear, of failure, and yet God's message has never changed. Do not give up. Persist in the feeling. Make it your dwelling place, your emotional home. When your mind wanders, gently bring it back. When fear whispers in your ear, turn again to the feeling of success. B.T. This is not force, it is faith. Faith is simply feeling with conviction before the evidence appears. Ask yourself, what would I feel right now if I knew this desire was already fulfilled? Would I walk differently, speak differently, breathe differently? Would I go about my day with a lighter step, a brighter heart? That feeling, that quiet confidence, is the signal you send to the creative power within. And when you remain in that feeling, without falling into despair or forcing the world to change overnight, you become the embodiment of the very thing you seek. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, the world is a mirror, reflecting back not just your thoughts, but your deepest feelings. If you carry the feeling of success, the mirror must show you success. If you carry the feeling of love, the mirror must reflect love. But if you fall back into fear, into worry, into constant complaining, the mirror has no choice but to reflect that too. This is not punishment. This is law. And God's law is always faithful, always precise. So when you hear the voice inside telling you not to give up, understand that it is telling you to remain loyal to the feeling of your desire fulfilled. It is inviting you to step into the version of yourself who already possesses what you seek. That version exists now within you, and you bring it to life by feeling it real. Do not wait for the world to give you permission. Do not wait for circumstances to line up before you allow yourself to feel the joy of your fulfilled desire. You must feel it now before the senses can confirm it. This is the great secret, the holy mystery, that what you claim inwardly with feeling shapes your outer life. When the road feels long, when the outer world seems unchanged, remember this truth. You are not called to battle the world, to fight against appearances. You are called to return again and again to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Hold it close. Let it fill your heart. Walk through your days with the quiet assurance that what you have felt within will come to pass. God is telling you not to give up, not because you must wait endlessly, but because you must hold steady in feeling until the unseen becomes seen. Feel it real, and the world will mirror back your inner conviction. Do not give up, for the power is already within you, waiting to be claimed, waiting to be felt, here, now, in this moment. God is telling you not to give up, because faith is nothing but persistence in assumption. Faith is not merely hoping or wishing. It is the unwavering commitment to hold fast to the unseen truth you have accepted within, even when the outer world offers no sign of change. It is a refusal to abandon your inner conviction, no matter how loudly the facts around you scream otherwise. Look around you and you will see many who started with excitement, who imagined something new, who desired transformation, but when days passed and circumstances remained unchanged, they let go of their vision. They became discouraged, convinced themselves it was impossible, and returned to the life they wished to leave behind. But the one who persists, the one who clings to the assumption despite appearances, that is the one who exercises true faith. It is easy to believe when things are going well, when doors are opening and the world seems to cheer you on. But the real test comes when nothing moves, when every door seems shut, when the people around you doubt, and even your own mind begins to waver. That is when you must remember the creative power within you responds not to outer facts, but to your sustained assumption. It is not a single moment of belief that shapes your world. It is your dominant state, the place where you continually return in thought and feeling. You might wonder why persistence matters so much. Why not just hope and wait? But you see, every time you return to the state of lack, every time you dwell on it's not working, nothing's changing, I don't see any results, you are planting a new seed of doubt. And doubt is not neutral. Doubt is a creation too. You are always creating, always shaping, always impressing upon the deeper mind. So when you are told not to give up, it is not a plea to wait passively, but a call to stay faithful in your assumption, to hold firmly to the reality you want to experience, and to live in its feeling now. Persistence is the art of remaining inwardly loyal, of staying married to the state you have chosen. If you have claimed success, walk through your days as one who has already succeeded. If you have claimed healing, carry yourself as one who has already been restored. If you have claimed love, speak, act, and think as one who is already deeply loved. The outer world cannot help but reflect back what you persistently assume. Do not be discouraged if the outer takes time to catch up. Imagine planting a seed and then standing over it impatiently, digging it up every day to check if it has sprouted. You would kill the seed through doubt and interference. But if you trust the process, if you water it daily with faith and patience, in time you will see the tender shoots break through the earth. Your assumptions work the same way. You plant them through imagination and feeling, and you water them through persistence. Persistence is quiet power. It is the daily choice to return again and again to the truth you have accepted within. You may stumble, you may have moments of doubt, but you do not stay there. You bring yourself back gently but firmly to the inner knowing that what you have imagined is already yours. This is faith. This is the message God whispers to you when you are weary and tempted to give up. Remain faithful, remain loyal, remain persistent. You are not called to force the world or manipulate circumstances. You are called to persist in the unseen, to continue dwelling in the feeling of fulfillment, to trust the law that the outer must reflect the inner. Even when all seems silent, even when the night feels long, the power within you is at work, reshaping the world around you to match what you persistently hold within. So when you hear that still, small voice urging you not to give up, know that it speaks of your own persistence. Hold fast to your assumption. Nurture it with love and conviction, and walk confidently in the unseen. For the one who persists, the one who stays faithful despite appearances, will surely see the invisible become visible. Do not give up. The seed has been planted. Let your persistence bring it to bloom. God is telling you not to give up because your world is not shaped by chance, luck, or external forces. It is shaped by the law of consciousness. What you hold within, what you accept as true, what you live in and feel repeatedly becomes the reality you walk through. You are not a powerless being thrown into a world of fixed events. You are the operant power, the creative force expressing itself through your thoughts, assumptions, and feelings. Everything you experience externally is a direct reflection of the state you occupy internally. The law is simple and sure. Your outer world mirrors your inner state. Change the state within, and you will see the world without begin to shift, sometimes in ways you could never predict. But here is where many people struggle. They believe they must wait for the world to change first before they can feel different inside. They wait for the relationship to heal before they feel loved. They wait for the money to appear before they feel secure. They wait for the success to come before they feel confident. Yet the truth is just the opposite. The law of consciousness tells you that you must feel first and the world will follow. You must claim the state internally before the facts can rearrange themselves externally. The world is not telling you what is true, your consciousness is. The facts you see now are nothing more than the outpicturing of your previous inner states. What you assumed yesterday, what you accepted last month, what you felt last year has taken shape and stands before you today. And if you do not like what you see, there is no need to fight or resist the outer. Simply return inward and assume a new state. The world will conform to the new assumption as surely as night follows day. This is why giving up is so dangerous. When you give up, you are not surrendering to life. You are surrendering to the belief that outer conditions have the final word. But they do not. Outer conditions are only the echo. The cause is within you. And the moment you change the cause, the echo must change. The law of consciousness does not play favorites. It does not reward the good or punish the bad. It simply reflects back to you the state you most consistently occupy. If you live in the state of abundance, you will experience abundance. If you live in the state of lack, you will experience lack. If you live in the state of love, you will experience love. The law is precise, and it works whether you are aware of it or not. This is why it is so important to become conscious of your own assumptions. What are you assuming about yourself, about your world, about the people around you? What state are you dwelling in when you are alone, when you are quiet, when no one is watching? For it is these inner states, these silent assumptions, that shape the events of your life. And when God tells you not to give up, it is because you are being called to awaken to your true creative power. You are being reminded that you can choose a new state at any moment. And by persisting in that state, you can watch your world transform. The moment you feel it, do not look outside for signs. Do not wait for confirmation. You are the confirmation. You are the operant power. You do not need to ask if it is working. You need only to persist in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, knowing that the outer world must bend to match the inner conviction. And when doubts arise, as they surely will, you must not panic or despair. Doubts are not the end. They are simply old patterns rising up, asking to be replaced. You do not need to fight them. You need only to return again and again to the new state you have claimed. Remind yourself that the law is working perfectly. Remind yourself that the outer world is simply reflecting your consciousness. Remind yourself that God's power moves through you, and that by changing your inner state, you change everything. Some will say, but I have imagined and nothing has happened. I would say, what have you imagined most consistently? What have you accepted as true most deeply? For a single moment of wishful thinking is not enough. You must live in the state, breathe it, feel it, walk in it. You must make it your home, your dwelling place, your resting ground. Imagine for a moment that you are an actor on a stage. You have been handed a role, the role of the person you desire to be. How would you play that part? How would you stand? How would you speak? How would you feel? Take on that role inwardly. Step into the character fully. For when you live from the new state, the law of consciousness guarantees that the world must rearrange itself to reflect your new identity. This is not magic, this is law. And the law is always faithful, always exact. If you persist in the state, the results must come. They may come through channels you expect, or through ways you could never have foreseen, but they will come. And they come not because you begged or pleaded, but because you accepted within yourself that it was already so. You have been given a great gift, the gift of awareness, the gift of consciousness. And with that gift comes responsibility. The responsibility to choose your states wisely, to assume the best, to persist in the good, and to refuse to let the outer facts dictate your inner truth. When you live this way, you move through life with grace, with confidence, with a quiet, unshakable knowing that you are the master of your fate. So when you are tempted to give up, when the journey feels long, when the world seems stubborn or slow to change, remember this. God is not outside you, working against you or withholding blessings. God is the creative power within you, waiting on your assumption, waiting on your feeling, waiting on your persistence. You do not need to chase the world or struggle against it. You need only to go within, claim your desires already fulfilled, and live in the joyful expectation that what you have accepted in consciousness must come to pass. Do not give up. Do not hand your power over to outer conditions. Stand firm in the truth that your world is shaped from within by the law of consciousness. Assume the best, feel it real, persist in the unseen, and watch as the scene transforms before your eyes. For the one who masters the inner world will inevitably master the outer. And that, dear friends, is the message God is whispering to you even now. Stay the course, trust the law, and never give up. God is telling you not to give up because the power within you to persist shapes the timing and unfolding of your desire. So many become restless when they do not see immediate change. But the truth is, the moment you assume your desire is real and live in its feeling, it is already set in motion. The outer world may not instantly reflect it, but the seed has been planted, the course has been set, and if you remain faithful, the harvest must come. Understand this well. Delay does not mean denial. The world moves by patterns, by unseen currents, by countless interconnected threads, and your persistent assumption pulls these threads together in ways you cannot see or measure. You do not control how it will come. You only control that it will come by your continued inner faith. They grow weary and lose heart because they mistake the silence of the outer world for failure. But silence is not failure. Silence is often the surest sign that deep, invisible changes are underway. When you plant a seed in the ground, you do not stand over it demanding proof. You water it, you let the sun warm it, and you trust that under the soil, unseen by you, life is stirring. So it is with your desires. once you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, once you accept it as done within, the processes of life begin their work. Trust them. Let them unfold. To give up is to uproot the seed, to halt the process, to interrupt the flow. This is why the quiet, steady persistence of assumption is so powerful. You are not forcing the world to obey you. You are aligning yourself with a truth that already exists in potential. And the more calmly, the more confidently you rest in that truth, the more quickly and smoothly it comes to pass. Now some may ask, why is persistence even necessary if all things are possible? Why not simply imagine once and let it be? But you see, the mind is a restless thing. It wanders, it questions, it doubts, it shifts. And every time you shift your attention away from the wish fulfilled and back to lack, back to worry, back to fear, you delay the unfolding. Think of someone waiting at a train station. If they know the train is coming, they wait calmly. They may look at the clock, they may glance down the track, but they do not panic. They do not run up and down the platform, demanding to know where the train is. They trust the schedule, they trust the system, and sure enough, in its appointed time, the train arrives. So it is with your desires. Trust the unseen schedule. Trust the hidden movement. Trust that your persistence has already set everything in motion. And when the world seems to offer no evidence, when days or weeks pass without a sign, that is the moment you prove your faith. That is when you choose deliberately to hold the feeling anyway, to act inwardly as if it is already yours, to refuse to be swayed by outer facts because you know that facts are shadows and you are working with the light. The moment you persist in the assumption of your wish fulfilled, you lift yourself into alignment with the creative flow of life. You become one with the very power that shapes the stars and guides the tides. This is not about arrogance. This is about alignment. You are not demanding or begging. You are accepting. You are not hoping weakly. You are knowing strongly. And let me remind you, you need not persist with clenched fists or tense nerves. True persistence is quiet, calm, and sure. It is the deep inner knowing that what you have claimed within must reveal itself without. It is the peaceful confidence that life supports you, that the creative power within you never fails, that your desire is already moving toward you even if you cannot yet see the path. You are not here to battle circumstances or wrestle the world into shape. You are here to claim your state, to live inwardly in the joy of fulfillment, and to trust the perfect unfolding of events. If something delays, it is only because a better arrangement is being prepared. If something seems to fall apart, it is only to make way for something greater. Your only job is to persist in the knowing that all things are working together for the fulfillment of your assumption. When you hear the quiet whisper urging you not to give up, recognize it as the voice of your deeper self, the part of you that knows, beyond the surface noise, that the unseen is more real than the seen. That voice is calling you to stay the course, to hold the vision, to walk in the feeling of fulfillment even when the outer world has not yet caught up. This is the true work, not struggling with the outer, but mastering the inner, not chasing signs, but becoming the sign, not waiting for proof, but living as proof. Ladies and gentlemen, you hold within you a power beyond measure, the power to choose your inner state, to persist in your assumption, and to shape your world accordingly. Do not let appearances deceive you. Do not let delay discourage you. Do not let momentary doubt rob you of your birthright. You have imagined the end. Now live from it. You have claimed the state. Now remain in it. You have set the process in motion. Now trust its perfect unfolding. The world may shift, people may come and go, opportunities may rise and fall, but the creative power within you remains steady, faithful, and sure.